Just click started streaming. So it should start in the next 10 seconds. Alright, should be live. What is up, everybody? It is Ethan here, and today I'm once again with my friend Evan from Evan Sports Corner as we just went through a wild round one of the NHL playoffs, and we are here to break down what happened and what is to come. How you doing, Evan?
I'm doing good, man. It was a great week. First round was wild. The Stars got the W, of course, and so it should be a fun one. Second round's about to start, and I'm hyped. Actually, it already did start, technically, didn't it?
Yeah, I know the Leafs are losing 1-0 right now to the Florida Panthers. As of the recording, that game is going on of round two. So it's looking good. As you can see, I'm repping the Leafs today. So it's
Oh, you repping Leafs?
big hype, big hype. You know,
Yeah, man.
yeah,
So he's actually to make it out of the first round. That's nuts, bro.
it is crazy. That was one of the crazy
Yeah.
things. You wanna start with that series? Just hop right into
Yes,
it.
yes. I don't know how they actually won. I was fully riding Tampa Bay. I thought that Tampa Bay would at least make it out of the first round because they've been killing everyone for the last 3 years. But I was wrong, man. The Leafs came up clutch for once.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's something I felt, man. I felt, like I said in the last episode, something magical was gonna happen, and it did. I said Leafs in seven. It ended up being Leafs in six, but you'll take it either way. You know,
Yeah,
either way, you love to see it. And then
yeah.
in that series, there was definitely some crazy moments. As like we had the Samsonov, people were questioning if he could be the good goaltender. Vasilevsky wasn't his playoff self until elimination was on the line, but it was not enough. And then did you see the yellow shirt guy after I think it was game four? Did you see that at all or
What do you
no?
do?
Oh, there's this guy at the Toronto Maple Leafs game with a yellow sweatshirt, and he tried to like attack. I think it was Kucherov in the box. Like he tried to hop the glass and attack him. So then there was like a big joke. And so like the next Leafs home game, there was a bunch of guys in yellow sweatshirts that like sat around the penalty box. It was pretty cool. But yeah,
Bro,
so
that's pretty funny, man.
yeah,
Oh man, so yeah, that was an exciting series for sure. I think I had Tampa Bay in seven, and they didn't do the job. But hey, shout to the Leafs. Good for their fans. They finally get to celebrate something for the first
yeah,
time in quite some time.
definitely.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
let's get a pretty
what did you say, man?
boring series out of the way here. Vegas versus Winnipeg. It kind of went how
Yeah.
everyone expected it to. Vegas won easily.
Mhm.
The the most interesting thing that happened in that series was Rick Bonus going off on his players in the post game. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah. And then you got Blake Wheeler going against them after that, basically giving a nothing answer, saying, "Oh, we try hard before games, so he shouldn't be dissing us like that." But that has been something that we've probably seen coming for a while, as there's been a lot of rumors about definitely some divides in the Winnipeg locker room, and
For sure.
obviously when Rick Bowness came in, they took the captaincy away from Blake Wheeler, so there is some I guess disputes between them there. And Vegas really handled Winnipeg pretty well after game 1 and 2, because game 2 went to overtime. Game 1 was all Winnipeg. And also in that fallout, Connor Hellebuck saying that he doesn't want to be in a rebuild, as people are mentioning maybe Winnipeg's going in a rebuild now because they aren't the same team as they were in 2018, you know. So it's
For sure.
yeah.
I mean, Dubois probably heading for Montreal, and you got your veteran guys like Shifley and Wheeler who are just unhappy. This franchise was looking good in the middle of the season,
which is not typically what we see. Maybe one of the adjustments
carried over the playoffs, and they got smacked by Vegas in round 1. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next series was a one that we split on. We were split on this one, which was the Carolina New York series. That was a really good series, but I got the Carolina Hurricanes in that one, and I was right about that.
Yeah, it was the battle of the Sebastian Ahos there, as we had some pretty funny moments when two Sebastian Ahos were in the penalty box, as well as them, hitting each other. Just a little oddities that happens when you got two guys with the same names. It's pretty fun.
That's
But
pretty cool.
besides that, in my opinion, it was kind of a boring series because the Islanders, they have a slow pace of play, and the big guys that were supposed to be helping them with their goal scoring, the Bill Horvats, the Matthew Barzels, they didn't really step up into the role that you'd expect them to in the playoff situation, which is why it didn't work out for the Islanders, which I had hoped it would. And I mean, ideally for the Islanders, that was a situation where they would win because they had Antti Raanta, who's the backup goalie, in for most of that series. So you would think that the Islanders should be able to pull away with that, but it wasn't enough. Carolina was able to pull through.
Sorokin tried his hardest, man. He
Yeah.
tried.
I mean, Sorokin was carrying them on their back, to be honest, with the lack of goal scoring. So, yeah.
Another series I want to talk about was a series that really could have gone either way, but ended up going to Edmonton's favor, which was the Oilers and the Kings. The Kings had that opportunity to shut the door on Edmonton. I believe they have gone up 3-1.
Yeah, they could have.
Game.
Yeah, they were up 3-0 in the first period, and they blew it. So.
So they had a chance to really make it happen. They had a chance to advance, and they blew it. Gave the Oilers a chance, and the Oilers ran away with that series from there. So
yeah,
you gotta capitalize on those opportunities to put teams away.
Yeah, and if you're the LA Kings now, you're wondering who from the deadline are you going to keep? Because the plan obviously was Gavrikov, Korpisalo, these guys, they were going to take you all the way deep into the playoffs, and now you're wondering who's going to stay and who's going to go. Many people are saying that Korpisalo is probably going to go out the door after this short stint with the Kings. We'll see. There have been some slight rumors of Hellebuck to the Kings, as Hellebuck's not happy with the Jets right now. So I don't know. It could go either way. But we look the other way at Edmonton, man. The big guys showed up. McDavid, Draisaitl, they all showed up. Draisaitl is just behind Rope Hintz in points for the playoffs. So he's been going crazy, along with Evander King. They got some good depth scoring too. It was a good series for Edmonton, good showing. They're definitely one of the remaining contenders left in this playoffs.
For sure. All right, now we're going back to the Eastern Conference. Which Game 7 series do we talk about? I think I want to talk about the Devils one first, and more recent, more off the top of my head. A good series, but from what I heard, very disappointing ending to the Rangers season after all the acquisitions, Tarasenko and Kane and all the hype around them being a cup contender, and they go out to the New Jersey Devils and Jack Hughes.
Yeah, I mean, Akira Schmid is the main story there. You had Vicha Vanacek in goal for the New Jersey Devils, and many people were thinking, oh no, what are they going to do about their goaltending? Because Vanacek did not give the goaltending that was needed with the 5-1 losses in both Game 1 and Game 2. Basically, a carbon copy score against Vanacek, and then here comes Akira Schmid, who only had like 3 regular season stints in the season. So he came out of nowhere, played his heart out, outdueled Igor Shesterkin, which is just incredible.
Crazy.
Yeah, he got a shutout. He's probably, I mean, many would argue he might be the best goalie left. Stars fans would differ with Ottinger, but it's definitely Akira Schmidt or Ottinger. Those are the two big ones left, you know.
Yeah. And like, weren't the Rangers up 2-0 and they won both games on the road to start the series? They took off the road.
Yeah, but
that's like the most ideal start
mm-hmm.
for the playoffs is you win your 2 games on the road and then you go home and you can't win. That's sad.
Yeah, I mean, game 3 was very pivotal. Obviously, Akira Smith's first game, and they went into overtime. So, yeah, I mean, Rangers score 1 goal, they're up 3-0 in that series, and we're probably talking about a 4 or 5 game series there, you know.
For sure. So I want to talk about the 2-game 7 series last. Let's go back to the Western Conference and talk about my favorite series of the first round, which was the Stars taking down the Wild in 6 games. Great series, lots of physicality early on, especially with Pavelski getting knocked out in Game 1 for the series. Lots of controversy in the series as well, but Jake Ottinger did what needed to be done, and the Stars pretty much ran away with the series after Game 4. So
yeah, I mean,
fun series to watch as
it was
fan.
Especially Game 1, dude. Game 1 had me so hyped for this series. Double overtime, Pavelski got hurt on a clean hit by Dumba, which is just crazy. The physicality was through the roof. Obviously, the fans in Dallas were loving it until it was like 2 a.m. or whatever. Was it like 12 p.m.?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was late at night. It was a late game. And at the same time, the Oilers-Kings game was going on, so that was a lot of fun to watch in Game 1. Yeah. And then in Game 2, what happened in Game 2 exactly? The Stars struck back, right, to make it 1-1.
We blew them out. We beat them 7-3.
Oh yeah,
Game 3, we got blown out. I was really worried. That Game 3 was terrible. We got the doors blown off of us from the opening face-off. It was terrible. I feel like where the series turned around big though was Game 4. I feel like the Wild played decently in that game. They had a lot of chances on Ottinger, kind of like the Kings-Oilers series where they had a chance to put the series away in that game, and they just could not get a shot back behind Jake. And the Stars ended up stealing that game in Minnesota, came back to Dallas, cooked them early on in Game 5, and then Game 6, the Stars got off to a hot start. Mush Marchment getting the buzzer beater goal to end the second period pretty much sealed the series for Minnesota for Dallas against Minnesota.
And I mean, the goaltending is definitely one of the main issues in the playoffs, and it was really prevalent in this one as the Wild, they went to Marc-Andre Fleury in the second game, which is honestly, in my opinion, I don't know if Samsonov disallows 7 goals that the Stars had, but I think he's a factor in making that a less lopsided game, and obviously they went with him, or sorry, Gustafsson. I think I said Samsonov, I meant Gustafsson. And I think Gustafsson honestly should have started Game 2 and should have started the whole thing, but they had that whole tandem going in the season. So, and we go to another series now where tandem was a big part of their season, the Boston Bruins versus the Florida Panthers.
The upset of the century, man.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that the Bruins having the greatest regular season of all time, and yes, we know the President's Trophy curse is very real, but I did not expect it to strike I didn't expect it to strike at all, but especially not in the first round against a team that just barely snuck in the playoffs in Florida, who has Matthew Tkachuk, who's elite, but aside from that, I mean, they got some good players, but Boston was the superior team on pretty much every level.
Yeah. I mean, going in, and then especially after, Game 1, it was a fight. Pretty sure Boston won Game 1, correct? Let me pull up those games, because I'm honestly forgetting what happened.
Boston. Who won that game, actually?
Yeah, so the big story with Boston is obviously Patrice Bergeron was not in the first 3 games of the series, which people thought was going to be a big factor. And what happened in Game 1? How am I forgetting Game 1, bro?
Panthers versus Bruins. All right. It says.
Oh yeah, Boston won 3-1. Yeah.
Boston won 3-1.
I mean, yeah, Matthew Tkachuk had the only goal, and you're coming out of that one thinking, okay, I guess this is going to be a quick one. Boston's going to handle them well, even without the Patrice
Yeah.
Bergeron. And then you go into what were we going to say?
Yeah, no, Boston. My bad. Boston's like just they've been like so dominant. I mean, Omar, I think wasn't he playing with like an injury through this series too?
Apparently, yeah. Which
Yeah.
which honestly makes one wonder why. Like, obviously the tandem thing didn't work with Buffalo, and so or with Minnesota. Why did I say Buffalo's not even in the playoffs, bro? Anyways, the tandem thing didn't work with Minnesota, and it probably made the Bruins a little worried. Hey, maybe we shouldn't put Swayman in because Olmark hadn't played more than 3 games in a row in the season because of how reliable Swayman was. And you put him in a situation where he's expected to play almost all 7 games. That's definitely going to take a toll on someone that's not used to it, which
Sure.
which definitely hurt him in the 6-3 loss, the next one. And then after that, you had Game 3, which went to overtime, which was pretty crazy. Matthew Tkachuk with the goal off of the fluky play from Olmark. Actually, that was Game 4. My bad. It was 3. It was 3-1. I forgot. Yeah. So yeah, Boston was up 3-1. So now the Leafs can make the it was 3-1 jokes on the Bruins fans now instead of it being the other way. But yeah.
That just goes to show how important goaltending is in the playoffs. We talked about this in the last podcast, how important goaltending is. I mean, especially like having a guy like Jake Ottinger for Dallas who's able to play 7 games in a row, deal with the mileage, and go out and play at a high level. As the series progresses, Ottinger got better. That's kind of the most important thing is having a goalie you can go out there and shut a team down for most of the games in the series and continue to get better as the series goes along.
Yep.
And it looks like Boston is kind of gassed out in the goaltending department.
And then the Florida played with house money and they got the win. I think if Boston put Swayman in one of those earlier games, I think we'd be looking at a different outcome because obviously it was a matter of only a few goals that separated the two in Game 7. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a tough one.
All right.
So
on to the final series of the first round, Avs Kraken.
Avs versus Kraken.
So,
okay. Yeah, you take the lead on this one.
All right. So I watched part of the series. You probably should tell me a little more about the Kraken and what you noticed because I got to be ready for the game tonight in this series, seeing what the Kraken's all about. But I mean, the Kraken they clutched up. Jared McCann got hurt, and they rallied around him and were able to get the series in 7. They went against a superior Avalanche team, the defending champs, and Philip Grubauer was incredible in this series. Not certainly that was one of the main concerns going into the playoffs was for Seattle was their goaltending, and Grubauer was phenomenal in this series. Shut down a high-powered Colorado offense with McKinnon, Rantanen, and all of them. Colorado had their own injuries and problems. Landeskog missing the playoffs and Makar getting suspended was certainly a turning point in the series. But Kraken did what they need to do, and they're a young team that's on the rise, and they get their first playoff series win.
Yeah. So honestly, I didn't pay attention to the series too much in the first game. But the Kraken did end up surprising us with that first win, with a 3-1 win, and that's when we really started to see, maybe this Kraken team can rally together, use their group of what would normally be a bunch of second liners, but when you got 4 second lines, you're able to roll that pretty well. You're able to even out the line minutes, and you're able to control the flow. As the Avalanche, honestly, in my opinion, they looked like they were like relying on Makar and McKinnon out there. Like they were waiting for them to make a play, Rantanen as well. When you have those superstars, obviously you expect them to make plays. But when you're the Seattle Kraken and you don't have a superstar and you have 15 different players score a goal in your series, which is just absolutely crazy. It's just an all-out team effort. And Philip Grubauer really showed the Colorado Avalanche that maybe they should have gave him the extra bit of bucks in free agency and not let him go to the Kraken 2 years ago. But yeah, obviously the Colorado Avalanche struck back in Game 2 and Game 3, and it looked like, okay, they're go into Game 4 in Seattle. The Seattle fans are just going to enjoy it, you know. But then Seattle, they somehow come out with the momentum shifting overtime win 3-2, and that's really when people realized, hey, this could be for real. But at the same time, that was the game after the McCarr hit, so uh, people were saying, hey, maybe because Cale McCarr wasn't in the game, he could have been a defining factor. But it just didn't end up being that way, as the Kraken were able to eke out a win in Game 7. So, yeah.
Great series, really entertaining stuff, and I was rooting for Seattle, but I'm not anymore, man. I'm not anymore. It's Seattle Kraken hate week now, man.
Yeah.
Although I do respect them for taking out Colorado, but I believe that's all the first round series, right?
Yeah, I think we got through all of them. I'll double
So we're
check.
gonna predict these second round series here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it, man.
All right, let's start with the Western Conference. Ethan, I'll let you go first here. Vegas and Edmonton.
All right.
That's a good series.
Vegas and Edmonton. This is a really good series. Obviously, Brassois, a goaltender for the Knights. He proved the Winnipeg Jets a lot of goaltenders proving themselves against their old teams. You had Grubauer, and then you had Brassois here, former backup of the Jets. He proved himself. And then we got a good series here. It's Jack Eichel versus Connor McDavid, the two big pieces of that draft here. People were wondering, hey, maybe the Oilers should go Jack Eichel. Obviously, they made the right move and went with Connor McDavid, and Jack Eichel went to Buffalo, and then they had the whole injury fiasco, and now he's in Vegas, and we get a playoff series between Jack Eichel and McDavid, so that should be a fun one. I think the Oilers are going to come out on this one. It's going to be a tough, close series. I'm going to pick Oilers in 7 because I could easily see Vegas coming out and winning this. They have the pieces to win, but I think the Edmonton Oilers are just that much better.
I'm gonna agree with you here as well. I think I'm gonna have Oilers in 7. McDavid's gonna make it back to the conference finals. I mean, him and Draisaitl have been great in the playoffs as expected. Stuart Skinner's there, and I don't know if this is recent, but has Vegas been dealing with some goaltending injuries lately, like Thompson and them?
Yes, I mean they've been rolling with the goaltenders like crazy, but it did not. Brassois got healthied up before the playoffs, and I mean Vegas is rested. That's a good thing to consider. They're the only team to have 5 games, so I don't know. We can see how that affects them.
Rested, but I think that this little goaltending carousel and this kind of thing that they're doing here, it might work against a team like the Jets. It's kind of on a downward trend, but when you're going against the hottest team in the NHL, who's been lights out, you got 2 of the best players in the entire league, plus Nugent Hopkins as well. I just think Edmonton's going to take advantage of that goaltending, and they're going to put a lot of pucks in the net. Edmonton in 7. Still going to be a good series, but Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl will be the difference.
Nice. All right. You want to go to your team series now, man?
Yes, sir. Of course. I mean, last series was a really physical and tough series. I thought it was going to be really good, and it was a competitive series. And I think that Seattle is a good team. I obviously have a lot of respect for them, and I cannot sleep on them. I'm not underestimating the Kraken. However, I do think that Dallas is just a superior team on a lot of different levels. I think that we'll beat them in 6 games. I think that Seattle's got good players, but Matty Beniers is young, and McCann's hurt. Their goaltending was really, really great last round, but I think that Robertson, Hintz, Heiskanen, Pavelski coming back soon, hopefully. I think they're just going to be able to overwhelm the Kraken. And I just think that not having like that scorer, that guy, is going to hurt them this series against Jake Ottinger. Where the Avalanche have some solid goaltenders, Ottinger's just a superstar. So I think because of that, I think Dallas is going to take Seattle down 6. It's going to be a competitive series. Seattle's a good team, but I think that the Stars, as of right now, are the better team.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that one. I would pick the Stars over the Kraken too. I mean, I hate going against the Kraken because obviously there is a scenario where they come out of nowhere and they beat them once again. They did it just to beat the defending champs, so I don't know. It could go that way, but I'm going Stars in 6 as well. You got the Rope Hintz who's just on fire right now, and I think Robertson has a little more that he can turn on, you know. And with Pavelski hopefully coming back, he's not going to be fully healthy. I don't expect him to get all the minutes that he got in Game 1 during the 2 periods that he was in. But I do think the Stars will be able to pull through. You got a better defensive core, in my opinion, better depth, and I think they're just a better all-around team. So yeah, Stars in 6.
Stars in 6. All right. Ethan, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this next one. Which series you want to talk about? Toronto, Florida, Carolina, New Jersey. Which one do you want to talk about?
I think we should get Toronto, Florida going because that one right now is in the process of happening. They're in the second period. It is 1-0 Florida. So not to bias your picks or anything, man, but it is 1-0 Florida. So that's not gonna bias my pick. I'm picking the Leafs. I'm gonna pick Leafs in six. I'm sticking with the 6 games. Yeah, they're down by one right now, and yeah, the pressure's going on at home, but they got over one hump, which was just Tampa Bay. I think they can get over the other hump. It's not to say that Matthew Tkachuk and Barkov and all the other players aren't going to do anything. And one thing we forgot to talk about is Bobrovsky, my guy. Bobrovsky on the Florida Panthers is going to give Toronto a tough time, as he's already shutting them out right now. So he's going to give them a tough time, just like he gave the Bruins a tough time. And I just want to throw in this tidbit here. Bobrovsky is now like known as the guy that will beat that. He's just the one that carries out the President's Trophy curse. We look at 2019 when Columbus swept the Tampa Bay Lightning, who had that historic season. Bobrovsky was in net, and he led the Panthers to this one too. So either way, after all the Florida Panthers talk, I'm still picking Leafs in six.
Honestly, I think the series is gonna go to the distance. I think it's gonna be Leafs in seven, though. I think that now that Toronto has finally gotten over the hump of being so mediocre and so bad in the playoffs for so long, I think they're gonna capitalize on this opportunity. I think they're going to go. The series is gonna go the distance. It's gonna go to seven, just like Florida's last series. But I think that the Leafs, Austin Matthews is gonna get a big time goal in Game 7, and the Leafs will advance in front of their home crowd to the conference finals. I just think that when a team takes that long to get over the hump and they finally make it back, I can't see them losing this round, man. I think they're so energized, they're so hyped up that they finally got past the first round. I just think that they're going to take Florida out. It's gonna be a really good series, though.
Yeah.
Really good series.
Yep. Definitely. All right, let's move on to the next series in the Eastern Conference. We have the young blood New Jersey Devils versus the Carolina Hurricanes. Evan, what's your pick on this one?
Well, the Hurricanes have been in the playoffs a lot over the last few years, and I don't. I mean, have they made the conference finals yet?
The Carolina Hurricanes? Or,
Yeah.
yeah, no, they have not. That they are stuck in first and second round purgatory. So this could be the year.
I think
But
it's gonna stay that way. I think this Devils team is good. Obviously, the goaltending's was iffy, but now they got this new dude who's balling out. What's his name?
Akira Smith.
Keir Smith. Yeah, he's been crazy for them. I think he's gonna continue. Hot goaltending is incredible in the playoffs, and it can shut down even the best of offenses. And I think Jack Hughes, he's becoming a superstar. Probably already is a superstar in this league. I'm not sure what's up with Timo Meyer though. I saw he took a big hit from Truba yesterday. Hopefully he'll be all right. But I think that the Devils, man, they're young, up and coming team. I think they're going to be the surprise team in the playoffs. They already took out the Rangers. I think they're going to continue to surprise people. They're going to the conference finals and they're taking down the Carolina Hurricanes in 6 games.
All
Devils.
right. I'm going to disagree with you on this one. Although I love the Devils, Luke Hughes is going crazy right now with Nico Hischier. And I mean Akira Smith is looked pretty invincible, but I think the Carolina Hurricane can get over the hump this time. They showed some fight against the Islanders, who both had a very similar slow style of play. I think if the Carolina Hurricanes can really slow them down with their defensive core, with Chatfield back there, as well as Slavin, I think they can really slow them down. If they can get their play going, they're gonna win a few games, and I think they'll win 4 games, which is why I'm going Carolina in 7.
Carolina in 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Sebastian Aho's gonna get the goal scoring, man. It's gonna be good.
I'm excited for this series. Actually, that's one of the most exciting series. But of course, the best series is going to be the Dallas series. Hopefully we win, make the conference finals. I'm expecting a deep playoff run from the Stars this year for sure. So
Yeah.
excited.
All right.
Hockey playoffs, always exciting time.
Yes. And now I have one question for you, Evan. With the teams eliminated and our brackets blown up, who's gonna win the Stanley Cup now? Stanley Cup predictions.
Oh man.
Round 2 Stanley Cup predictions.
I don't know. It's really tough. Honestly, I think it's coming from the Western Conference. I think it's either Dallas or Edmonton, to be honest. I think I'm. You know what? I'm going with my boys. I'm going with the Dallas Stars. I think the playoffs are wide open right now. The favorites are out. Boston, Colorado, and New York are all out. Now there's still I think Edmonton is our biggest competition, but there's been a lot of crazy upsets in the first round. Kraken taken out, the Avalanche, Panthers taken out, the Bruins. I think there's a lot of opportunities for Dallas here, and I think that Dallas has the best goaltender remaining in the playoffs. I think that he is going to carry them, and they're going to be. I think the team this year is just really complete. I could see. I think that they're going to go the distance with Edmonton next round, but I think Dallas is going to provide. I think Jake Ottinger is going to be incredible, and Rope Hintz is going to continue to ball out. And at the end of the playoffs, Rope Hintz will be the Conn Smythe winner, and the Dallas Stars will be your Stanley Cup champions, winning their second championship ever, and hopefully starting a potential dynasty. I hope.
Yeah. As all fans hope, you know. So
Yes, sir.
looking at the second round, as we just went through, there's a lot of great options. The most recent Stanley Cup winner is Carolina, so it's going to be an exciting one either way. All the fan bases are ready for a Stanley Cup, as three of them don't even have a cup, and they're all cup thirsty, you know. So it's going to be a good series. But I got to go, you know, with these boys right here. Or you thought it was going to be those boys, but actually we're going with the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars. You love to see it. I got the Stars jersey, repping the Stars now. And I don't know if that'll pop up for you, Evan, in a sec. Anyways,
Yeah,
yeah, so we're going Dallas Stars. Jake Ottinger is just the best goalie out there, you know. He's going to pull through with Miro Heiskanen, Ryan Suter. I can't even list all the defensemen. They got a great defense core. They got a great all-around team. They got the veterans. They got the youngins. The veterans are going to pull them through in the playoffs. The youngins are going to perform. Dallas Stars.
Man, I hope you're right, man. I hope we're not jinxing the Stars, man. I hope we're
Yeah.
not jinxing the Stars. But yeah, I mean, I followed the team all. I mean, I've been following them for a while, but this team really, really complete squad. The best thing about the Stars, I feel like they obviously are going for the cup and they're one of the favorites, but they're kind of playing with house money, man. This is going to be a team that I expect to be in the playoffs, contending for Stanley Cups for many years to come. As long as Jakey's back there in goal, Robertson, Hintz, Heiskanen, all those guys are still going to be here. And again, just a seamless transition from Dallas from the old era. I mean, the Stars for years had Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin leading the charge, and now they've transitioned to the young era. And the good thing is those guys are still contributing. The veterans on this roster, Seguin, Benn, Pavelski, Suter has been a stable. Well, not during the regular season, but he had a good series against Minnesota. Outscored Kirill Kaprizov, which I thought was hilarious. But I'm expecting a cup. I'm excited. This is gonna be a fun one, and the Stars are gonna do it. I'm excited. I'm hyped.
Nice,
So
nice.
excited.
All right, hate to interrupt the conversation, you know, but I just want to alert you that the score of the Panthers Toronto game is now 2-1 Panthers, as Sam Bennett came in and scored the second goal to make it 2-0, and then a minute later, Sheldon Nyes, the rookie out of Minnesota from the NCAA, scored the goal. So Sheldon Nyes is a young star that's going to be on the rise. Leafs fans love to see him shining in the playoffs. He's going to be a gem. Just one of those guys that snuck in on us in the playoffs, and now it's 2-1 Panthers. It'll be interesting to see who wins that. You know.
Dang. That's
Anyways,
crazy, bro.
moving out of the playoffs, we are going to go ahead and look at the Ottawa Senators, who were a playoff team initially. Looking at their roster, the GM said it's playoff time at the start of the season. Obviously, that did not happen. And then, unfortunately, their owner died, Eugene Melnyk, a few months ago. And now the team is up for sale, and there are some big names on the table. As Evan, you want to introduce those big names?
Snoop Dogg and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, Deadpool and Snoop Dogg, man. Some big hype names. As now the Ottawa Senators, with all this hype, are valued at around $1 billion, which will be just a new height for the NHL teams. As I believe the Seattle Kraken were at $800 million. I will double check that, but don't know the exact one. Let's see. Let me see what the shuttlecrack cost was.
My computer was about to die. I had to plug it back in.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, yeah. I'm interested to see who wins that bidding war for sure. That should be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Funny hockey stories with Snoop Dogg. You know, he's been known to wear hockey jerseys and stuff. But did you ever play NHL 20? I can't remember if you did.
Who's on the cover?
It's Austin Matthews.
I don't think I did. I played
Okay.
the one before, or I played 18. I played the one with McDavid on the cover, and then I played the last two.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, in 20, for some reason, Snoop Dogg was like a special guest during the announcers, but he was like a special guest in every game, so it got really annoying. So unless you rotated teams you played with, then he would like say funny things about each team, but it got pretty repetitive. It was like the special guest, Snoop Dogg, and it'd be like, oh my goodness, for the a millionth time, I'm hearing Snoop Dogg on NHL 20. That's crazy. But yeah, that's the limited hockey experience I've seen him. Besides him showing up to the occasional like Kings game and stuff, you know, he's obviously a big hockey fan and wants to make a difference. And Ryan Reynolds too. He owns that team in the UK soccer, so he wants to make his imprint in sports too. So and hockey as well. So yeah, yeah. So now,
that's pretty cool.
Yep. So now, do you want to talk about the Calgary Flames and the situation that's going down there after missing the playoffs?
Well, I heard that they fired their coach, and I guess a new era is underway in Calgary now. They gotta fix things up. I mean, the Flames have they've kind of been perennial playoff underachievers. I mean, they made didn't they lose? They beat the Stars last year in the first round.
Yeah, they lost in
they
the second round.
And yeah, the Flames had that nice core there for a while. Gaudreau, and then Monahan was pretty good and all that. They had some pretty good players there for a little bit, but then the team they've kind of made a lot of moves over the last like year or so.
Yeah.
Trade away some players. Gaudreau went to Columbus, and then they made what was the trade they made? Kachuk for.
It was Kachuk for Huberdeau and Weegar. Yeah.
Yeah, and now Kachuk is in the second round of the playoffs, while the Flames are golfing.
Yeah. Flames have been golfing for a minute, you know. I mean, as a Canucks fan, it's kind of been funny to see the Flames going Flames because I don't like the Flames that much. And I like that Kachuk's on the Panthers because I don't have to deal with him anymore. And I actually can appreciate what he does on the ice against the Bruins. But at the same time,
pretty goofy.
Yeah, he is. That's what's gonna make this Leaf series a lot of fun. It's just seeing Matthew Tkachuk all over the place, and then you. Anyways, back to the Flames. Daryl Sutter, who's been a very old school coach, obviously up in his years and age. The players did not. There was reportedly a lot of players saying they did not return to Calgary because of the way Daryl Sutter was coaching, and obviously they missed the playoffs. So, bye bye Daryl Sutter in Calgary. I'll be shocked if he gets hired again. To be honest, his big name to fame is the Kings winning 2 cups with him in 3 years. Remember living in the LA area at the time. That was a fun era. I actually have a signed puck from Daryl Sutter from that era, but I think the coaching era of Daryl.
The situation kind of sounds like the Tony La Russa situation in Chicago.
Yeah.
The White Sox this past year, although he kind of retired for health issues and stepped away from the team, but kind of the same thing. It was an old school manager. Players just didn't like him, and it just sounds like a pretty similar situation here, other than the health, like the old school coaching style. So yeah, the draft lottery is in 1 week. Crazy to think that the draft lottery is here so soon, and one team, one lucky franchise will get a franchise altering player, a McDavid, Crosby type of guy, a prospect who can change a franchise's fortunes, a player that the Canucks could use, the Blackhawks, lots of teams, any team could use Connor Bedard's services.
Definitely. All right,
let's make our predictions right now. Who is getting Bedard?
Okay. Do you want me to cheat and sim it, or we'll make our predictions and we'll sim it just for fun, you know?
Yeah. What do you
Okay.
want to do?
We can go ahead and try to sim it. Or okay, we'll make our picks and then we'll sim it, okay? Let's make our picks.
All right. Pick the Canucks. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Funny guy, funny guy.
I think he's coming into our division. I think he's going to Arizona.
Oh, okay. You think
I
it's
think
going to Arizona? I mean, I would like to see the Coyotes get it, obviously. Uh, anything for the
I
Coyotes
used to
would,
go watch him.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I love the Coyotes, hometown team, but don't think that'll it'll go to them in my opinion, as honestly, I don't see anyone else winning it except for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think the draft lotteries don't usually have that huge of jumps, and I think the Columbus Blue Jackets are just going to move up one spot. They're going to get it, and that'll be a great addition to a team that all of a sudden went into a rebuild after consistently being a playoff team, you know. And they got Johnny Gaudreau, they got Zach Werenski. I think Connor Bedard will be a fantastic addition to Columbus, you know.
So Columbus, you say Columbus, I say Arizona. What does the computer say? So
All right, let's go over here and see what the computer says. Here we go. It is being simmed, and the Washington Capitals have won the draft lottery according to this simulation,
What?
with the Montreal Canadiens moving up 3 spots to number 2, and everyone else moving down 1 and 2. And
Wait. What were the Capitals' odds?
let's see. The Capitals odds are at 6% odds. So
Dude, that would be one heck of a story, bro. Like
that would
having
be
Bedard coming in,
Bedard.
Obi's leaving.
Yeah, it would give us odes to the Sidney Crosby coming in with Lemieux leaving.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was about to say. Yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy. All right, so next week when the draft lottery happens, I said Arizona, Ethan says Columbus, and the computer's got the Capitals. The Capitals one's a little out there, but
Yeah.
maybe the computer knows something we don't, man. I don't know.
I don't know, man. It could go anywhere. But I mean,
I want
if
to see the Canucks get it though.
that'd be like incredible. That'd be like the craziest draft lottery happenings in a while, you know.
How would you feel, Ethan? What would you do?
Dude, I would probably like scream and run around my yard, and then everyone would stare at me like, "Why are you excited?" Because no one cares about hockey here. But
Connor Bedard, that is
yeah.
crazy.
But I mean, I don't know. If you move up like top 5, you're still getting good players because this draft is so deep. You know, Adam Fantilli, Will Smith, Matthew Wood, Leo Carlson, Mitchell Miskov. All these guys are great players besides Bedard. We might have a few busts in there that I just mentioned, but who knows? So.
But like Bedard, so Bedard is like he's gonna be incredible, obviously. And do you think that like the team that gets him will be a playoff team next year?
No, I don't think they'll be a playoff team, but they'll definitely show some improvement. Bedard will light up the lead. You got to think back to Sidney Crosby and it was his rookie season. They didn't make the playoffs, but they did make the playoffs next year, and they actually consistently made the playoffs for 18 seasons till this season. So I think you could see a turnaround like that. But you can also look to Edmonton, and it took them quite a few years with with Draisaitl and McDavid. So it could be that other way too. It's just up to team circumstance and what they put around them. I think another good team that'd be fun to see is just the Anaheim Ducks. They already got such a fun young core with Zegras. Just imagine Zegras or imagine Bedard playing with Zegras. That'd be a fun pairing, you know.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. So is there anything else to discuss for today?
I think we about covered everything. So
talked about bonus, talked about all the series and our predictions, talked about the lottery and Suter and Ryan Reynolds and Snoop Dogg. Talked about a lot here in the last 45 minutes.
Yeah, and now we got the round 2 coming up. Let's see, the Leaf score change before we end this. It is 2-2 now. as the Leafs have tied it. So we'll send you off to a good Leafs game as well as a good Stars game later tonight. Is Michael Bunting, who has returned from the lineup after being a healthy scratch and suspended earlier.
Broken back.
Yeah, he came back and he's made his mark after watching the Leafs move on from the booth. So good for him. And one question left for you, Evan. Are you going to stream the Stars game tonight?
Of course, man. I'll stream any game that's possible. I think in the Minnesota series I streamed a few games. I was busy when I did a lot of them though. Like
yeah.
I was busy during Game 6. I only watched the third period of Game 6 because I was at the Rangers game that day. And which games did I stream? I streamed games 1, 2, 3, and 5. That's not bad. I only missed a couple games.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So I didn't do bad, but I did miss a couple. But hey man, tonight's gonna be a fun one. I expect a W though, and should be a fun series. But yeah, it's always fun to see your team in the playoffs. It really brings a new, I don't know, it's such a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling, Obviously a lot of nerves as well, a lot of butterflies in the stomach. Not as bad as like the Cowboys in the playoffs though. I have a lot more faith in the Stars to get it done than.
And I mean you got multiple games, unless it's like Game 7 overtime. If it's Game 7 overtime, maybe you're feeling the same type of heat. But besides that, it's a little more chill,
It is for sure. But yeah, man, I'm excited. Tonight's gonna be a great one. Hopefully W.
It is. And Carter Verhaeghe just scored, so now it's 3-2.
What the heck, man?
Yeah.
That series is moving fast right now.
I know it is moving fast. All right, enough lollygagging. We want to go watch that game too, as well as come back here to watch the Stars game with Evan tonight. And we'll see you in episode 3 after the draft lottery. Thanks for watching.